Hi, I'm Maddie, and I've turned into a grandma at the age of 22. I've been doing a bunch of little hobbies this past year, and I want to show them off and talk more about them because I've become pretty passionate about them. And I also want to share my experiences of being a beginner in these things, such as knitting and plants. How I got into knitting, I learned in like elementary school or something like that from my grandma, and it turns out I found out that she has never finished a project. She only just knows how to knit and doesn't knit. So I don't even know how she found out or learned how to knit. So I just learned how to garter stitch and just made scarves, but I never once completed a scarf. I got so bored of it, and I would just go to my grandma's house, knit for the time I was there, and I'd go home and I'd completely forget about anything of it. I didn't care. During 2020, I was bored and I thought, you know what, maybe like I can pick up knitting again. Let's see what I can do. And my parents were like, yes, let's go to Michael's. Let's you know, give you something to do while we're just stuck inside. And you know, I was like, you know what? I want to make a blanket. Like, I could do that. I was very ambitious. I thought about doing, you know, little squares and then sewing them all together. I got really thick yarn and really big needles, and I was really into it, and then I forgot about it. I didn't care. And my parents hate when I start projects and I don't finish them, and they just collect dust at their house. 3 years ago, almost now, I was heading to Montana for winter break, and I was like, oh, I just want to be really cozy in the mountains and by the fire, and like, I want to knit a scarf. So we went to Michael's again, and my parents were like, okay, we'll get you this, but only if you promise, if you finish it. And I was like, of course, like, I'm gonna want it. It's gonna be so nice and so great, and like, I'll do it the whole time I'm in Montana. And I went to Montana, I knitted, and then I didn't finish it, and I forgot about it, and I didn't care. So I let that collect dust in my closet here in New York. And like a year later, my senior year of college, I pulled it out in December, and I was like, you know what, like, let me just do it again. And I actually finished a project for once in my life, and that was the start of my obsession with knitting. So this was my first completed project of my life. I made this huge scarf. It's so thick. Look at this. It's so thick. I don't even know how many stitches I have across. I didn't follow a pattern. I just gartered stitched the whole thing. I didn't even have to do any color work because the yarn's just like this from Michael's. I even decided to put my own label on this, and I have a bunch of other labels, and I don't really put them on my other stuff because it's just kind of a pain to do. But I do need to put more labels on my work because I think it's just so cute. I got them from Etsy. But yeah, it's so cozy, so fun. I got another, you know, kind of yarn that's the same brand that's just brown and white, and I was like, I'm gonna make another one so I have like colors to choose from. I started that, and I've not finished it because I really don't care to do it right now. So yeah, this is my first project. Next up, I decided I want to make this hat. So I just looked up a YouTube tutorial online to make yarn, and I went to Michael's and I bought some wool, and it did not match the YouTube video at all, so I just kind of winged it, used it as a guide, and it ended up being a hot mess. It was not long enough. It was a little short. I didn't have my boyfriend at the time in person to reference his head, and I blocked it, and then it just expanded so much. And I did not know how to block at the time. I was looking things up, didn't really look at it in full. I just looked at snippets of videos and tried to do it by myself, and it ended up being a little bit of a hot mess. But he loves it, he says, and he doesn't really care that it's bad, but like I care, like that's bad. My third project I have ever done were socks. I yet again looked up a YouTube video because I did not know yet how to read patterns or where to find patterns at all, so I decided I wanted to use a YouTube video to make a pair of socks. So I got this hand-dyed yarn online, which I think is gorgeous, but the thing is, they don't fit. They just don't fit. I did not know about gauge. I don't even know if they had gauge in the video because they're so tiny and so small. They're so small. And there was only 3 sizes on there. 3. And I was like, you know what, like I'll stretch it when I block it. Oh, I've stretched it. I've stretched it. And I've used like 0.1 millimeter size 1, whatever. And it took so long for them not to fit me. So I just look at them. So next up, I saw someone made a YouTube video about having a yarn cozy, and I really thought that was really freaking smart. So I decided to make a little yarn cozy. It's so cute. This is the first time I ever learned how to cable. I put my extra markers on here just because I use this on the go, or I used to. I have brought this to the airport, on the plane, to the Amtrak or whatever, anywhere. Bus, subway, I used to. But now knitting outside just makes me so anxious that I'm gonna like drop my project. I'm gonna get it off of the needles or something. So I don't really use it that much. I do have more yarn to make another, and it was just so fun to make, and I want to do it again, but realistically I don't really use this much anymore. It's also really tiny and small, and I don't like pulling yarn from the middle of the ball. I like to do it on the outer side of the ball. So this doesn't really have much use anymore. Do I still like it? I do. Next up, I made these socks for my boyfriend. I decided to use the same YouTube tutorial, even though before it didn't really work out for me. I thought, you know what, I'll be smart and I'll use the biggest size and 1 size needle up to make it fit my boyfriend's foot. And we were long distance at the time, so I only had reference of how long his foot was based off of his shoe size. So I had to block it, I had to do everything without seeing him until the final product, he put it on, and it fits. Like, it's snug. I feel really bad because I personally would not wear it because it's really snug along the heel when he puts it on. He still wears it time to time, but I could have done a lot better if I just looked at a pattern instead of using a YouTube tutorial. And would I ever make a sock again? I don't know. Like, it's fun and it was a good challenge for me to start with, but it just takes so much time for a small little project, and you gotta make 2. And by the time I made 1, I just did not want to make another. I just did not want to do it. So I haven't made socks since then, but that was my sock journey, and I still have so much improvements to make. So after, you know, I made a scarf, a failed hat, 2 failed socks, and a cozy, I was like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to make a sweater. So that's what I did. I bought this book on Amazon. It's my first time ever using a pattern, and there are so many good patterns in here. I just haven't gotten to them yet. This is the only, actually it's not the only one, but it's my only sweater that I've knitted from this. And I was just gonna take the leap. I was gonna go for it. So this was my first sweater. I really like the color of it. I think that this is a really good, simple first knit, and that's what it said in the book. So that's why I chose it. It's basically knitting for the most part, and then like on the 10th round you do a purl across. So it gives somewhat of a pattern, but not really, but it's just a great way to start. I did run into problems going into it. Did I not understand short rows? Yeah. Did I struggle with the magic loop on this? Yeah. So I kind of twisted the body because I didn't have the same amount of stitches on each side, and then when it came also to the sleeves, I just didn't want to find the middle of the project. I just chose random stitches to make the sleeves and just hope for the best, which it kind of did work, but like it could have been a little bit better. I definitely will want to wear the sweater. Once I make more sweaters, I don't really know if this will be something I pick up. It's pretty comfy, it's not really scratchy or anything, but it definitely, like, to me looks like a first time sweater. But I was just so happy to get this done. So after I made my first sweater, I kind of wanted to shake things up and do something different that wasn't an article of clothing. So I made these chickens. They're so fun. This one is for me and this one's for my boyfriend. I started with my boyfriend's one, which I think looks better. I messed up on the head and the neck, so I just like improvised it, which looks so much better, while the one that I actually followed the pattern, I feel like it looks a little weird. But it's okay, they're so cute. They sit on our couch, and you know what? This is the closest I'm ever right now gonna get to crocheting. I think crochet looks so hard, and I don't think I'm gonna touch it until I'm kind of sick of knitting. So that's gonna be a very, very long time until I get there. But yeah, my friend wants me to make him a chicken, but I told him that's not gonna happen until 2025. So he's gonna have to wait. So my second sweater is this braided loop pattern, I'm pretty sure it is. I'll put it on the screen. I decided to use green because I love green instead of the gray. This was a fun one to do. I really like cabling. It was like the first time where I did big cabling, which was fun. I did better about short rows and stuff, which, you know, there was less of in this pattern. But yeah, I'm overall pretty pleased. The things that I would maybe change about it, I wouldn't want to use worsted wool. I feel like I would want to use like a merino because it's a little scratchy and a little dense, and I didn't really want this one to be dense. I saw someone else who used merino after I made this, and I was like, dang it, I should have used merino. And I also just need to block the front better. It feels so cinched right here, and not relaxed enough, but the back is. Like, the back looks the best part of the sweater. It's so good. I love the fit. I love the drape. It's just gorgeous. And the last thing that I struggled with on this sweater was the collar. It's supposed to be a little bit looser than what it is right now on me. I just did not give it much ease when I was folding the collar over, but it's not twisted, so that's a plus on the collar. But overall, I'm so excited to wear this for the first time this winter. I can't wait to show it off and tell people that I made this. So for my boyfriend's birthday, I'd make him a new hat. So I made him this black hat. I used the same book as I used my first sweater for the pattern. It was really easy and fast, and it has a lot more structure than the one before, and it's not like a true beanie, which I like. It's not really big on the top. It's pretty fitted, which just fits his head. But I do like the style. I think it's like, I don't know, it's something I'd wear, and I think he'd also wear something like that, not like a true beanie. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I feel like I redeemed myself on that one. And yeah, I definitely recommend those hats. So this is the last sweater I made this year. I'm actually shocked that I was able to do 3 sweaters my first year. I thought I'd only be able to try to attempt a sweater and not even finish it. I feel like a sweater would take me like 2 months to do if I'm not working on a second project. I'm a person where I can't just do one project at a time. Like, I get sick of certain things, and I'm in like certain moods to do like certain kinds of projects. So like I switch between things. So these ones are kind of in order of how I finish the projects, but not entirely. So yeah, this took me maybe like 4 months to do. It's inside out. 1 second. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh my god, that would have been really bad if I showed you the inside of it this whole time. So this is what it looks like. It's the sea view pattern. I'll put it right here. It has a lot more cables in this, and that's why I chose it. I thought this would have been a big challenge for me. It has maybe like 6 different kinds of cables, which are different from the previous sweater, which only has 2, and they're the same size cable and go the same direction. Well, these go all directions, and I was struggling a lot at the beginning. The top back is where I started, and I had to restart that many times because I did not understand what ways cables go. And then I quickly learned through this process how to cable certain directions and how to notice when things are wrong. The mohair is from a store in Barcelona. My parents were there with my sister for a water polo game, and they gave me some yarn. They went yarn shopping for me, which is so nice. And I'm using knitting for olive merino. And something that I wish I could change about this sweater is the silk mohair. The silk mohair were from the same place, but it was in 2 different batches. So one batch was darker and one was lighter, and I knew that going into it. So when I wounded my yarn, I didn't make sure which ones were which, and it was hard to tell. And I didn't think much about it. So I started knitting it, and then I realized once I was done with the body, there's this really harsh line on it because these are 2 different batches. And what I wish I did was have the 2 batches here and then like 1.5 here of the other batch, because it just would have been more seamless, and in the light it's very noticeable. But I still wear this, and I'm still really proud of it, and I like this pattern a lot. It taught me a lot of things, and it's very soft. And yeah, it's just my 3rd sweater, and I have so many more projects like this that I really want to do. So since July of this year, I've been doing a little side project, and I'm not going to show you just yet. It's right here. It's blurred. I'll let you take your guesses of what it is. But it's something that I've been making multiples of because they're going to be gifts. The pattern is easy and quick, and I just know it by heart now. I have 2 more to do, which I'm so excited to get it done because it's just a lot of doing the same thing over and over again, but with different colors. But I'm so excited to show you guys it in a month or so. So that's all I have gotten done this past year of being a little grandma in my little apartment and knitting every day. I've learned so much, and I'm just so inspired by everyone that I see who knits and how much they do and how fast they go, and how people make patterns. It's just like insane. I wanted to make these videos because I just want to see and talk to people who are so passionate about their hobbies like I've become. I've always been a person where I didn't think I had hobbies and I didn't care to have hobbies. And now that I'm in post-grad, I'm so happy that I have these, projects to do, because I really hate being on my phone, and that's like the blessing that I have of doing these things, is because I feel like I'm being accomplished and I'm not wasting away my free time by being on my phone. So I hope to make more videos about the projects I'm working on, projects that I stopped working on, things that I eventually want to work on. I want to show my plants and how I take care of them, what plants I own, plant shopping, which is my favorite thing to do, and just like what I enjoy. I just really care about my happiness right now, and these things make me happy, and I just want to appreciate them as much as I can. So if you guys ever want to meet up and knit or craft or sew or color, or if you want a plant or trade plants or wanting a cutting or anything, like, I'm so down. Even though I live in New York, it's hard to find people, and I just want to find people to talk about the things that I like. So hopefully there's more to come. Hopefully I can get out a plant video next. I'm so excited about my plants. But yeah, stay tuned.